In this video, it's all about the detail sanding that follows the machine sanding, including using a specialized corner sanding tool. We'll talk about how to break in your sanding blocks. We'll also use a hand sander. I'll show you how to use your sanding block on the external edges, also on the internal corners. Cleaning them up using a light to finish off, and just using your tool to check all the corners. All that and more coming right up. Hi guys, Bradamckinnon here, drywall finisher, plasterer and stopper from here in New Zealand. Today it's all about sanding, and once you've finished sanding with your machine, by the way, if you've never used one or you want to know how to use one, check out this video here, how to use a drywall sanding machine. Follow that link at the top of the screen. But once you've finished using your machine, we're going to go through how to detail sand. If you don't have a machine, you might have used a pole sander, which is absolutely fine. Get everything you can with that, and then what I like to do is I like to move on to the internal corners. Now this is a specialty corner sanding tool called the Morph sander. See that tip that clips on there, and that actually morphs to the internal corner, sort of like a spring, and that gets right into the internal, so you can see it sort of moving there. Now once I sand everything with the machine, or if you're going to use a pole sander, this just finishes off that apex in the internal. Just doesn't take much, because all it's hitting at the moment is that tip is hitting right in the apex of that internal corner, and that's all we want to sand because the machine sanded everything else. Now once that's done, we just want to get into our three-way corners. So I like to use a angled sanding sponge, and just as you can see there, we're just working into that three-way from each side. And again, once that's done, we'll just finish off with our knife, nice sharp knife, just to scrape off any loose bits in that internal, and that's done. That's how I finish the three-ways and the internals. Now if you're using a brand new sanding sponge, you'll find the edges are quite sharp, or they might even be sticking out a little bit. So here's a little tip, and that is to just find some concrete, a bit of rough concrete, and just rub the edges. I actually like to sort of rub the whole block, but particularly those edges, because if you're using that flat on new plaster, they can dig in and leave lines, so we want to be real careful with that. But some of these sanding blocks, they'll be quite coarse, so just give them a rub to start off with, and you'll be away. Now let's get back into this skylight, because there's a lot of detail stuff in here. So once I've done the machine sand and then the internals, the Morph sanding corner tool, I like to get out the hand sander. I like to do as much sort of bigger stuff as I can using the sort of bigger sanders. So progressed from the sanding machine down to the hand sander. Now we're just going to get into those areas where the machine couldn't get. So see, my hand sander is quite skinny, it gets into all these little tight areas, and then once we've done everything we can with that, we're gonna get the sanding block out. Now I like to use a fine sanding block. You can get all different types. The main sort of tip I can give to you when buying a sanding sponge is to sort of try and squeeze them, and you'll find that the sponge with the more denser sponge will last you longer. The ones that are really soft, you can just feel in your fingers, that just sort of crumble up. We don't want those, so we want a nice dense sponge, and that'll last the longest. You can get angled sponges like this one, or square edge sponges. I recommend getting one of each, but generally the angled sponge gets into all those little corners there. There's external corners with the metal slim lines, you need to just clean those up as well. I just sort of work my way around whatever I'm doing, getting into all those little three ways, get the knife out there and just clean off any bits and pieces right in the internal where the sponge can't get to. The 45-degree angle there as well. I just like to turn that on the side, just create that nice line. Got to be careful it doesn't dig into the other side, because you must remember plaster is quite soft, especially the top coat. Quite soft. It's made for sanding. Some of the compounds are extra light, which means they're really easy to sand, which means they're quite soft. So we've just got to be careful digging in with the corner of the sanding sponge. Again, just cleaning off those metal bead edges, cleaning the plaster off, so you want a nice shiny edge for the paint to adhere to. And we're just going to work our way around. There's a lot of detail in this skylight. You can see it's sort of a double sized, where that sort of truss is running through the middle. It's been boarded up and plastered. Looks cool, but a lot of work involved. Again, we're just going to run down these internals just to finish off. Now, I like to just press nice and lightly with the sanding sponge, especially if it's a new one. And if I'm sanding an edge, I like to sort of just press on that edge of the sanding sponge just to make sure the other side isn't digging in, causing lines. And I'm just going to clean off that final bit there. See, I'm not pressing very hard. The machine's got most of it, of course, and then the Morph corner sander's got all those internals. But we just got to use our plastering knife just to get in those corners where the sponge just won't get to. And just give it a bit of a dust off so you can sort of see what you've done. It's also a good idea if you are painting, to dust down the plaster. You'll let dust off before painting. Now, once I've done as much as I can with the sanding block, I like to pull out the light and do a light check. Now, just holding that light on a sort of glancing angle just shows up any imperfections that you might have missed. Even using a little one up here just to get in those little areas. But holding the light side on to what you're sanding is the key, and that'll just show up any imperfections. It's amazing what you can miss or what it picks up. But once you've gone around with the light and checked everything, then it's all good, ready for painting. Remember to always wear your safety gear when sanding. I'm actually wearing a mask, a hat, earmuffs, gloves, and a long sleeve shirt just to keep me safe. There was another pretty cool feature in this house, which was this little 3-shelf wall system. I'll just show you quickly here how I finish these off. Now, I've done it, the whole thing with the machine. Then I used the hand sander and the Morph corner sander. We're just going to go around with the sanding block and clean off those metal edges. I've already done the block through the internals, but again, just showing you how I use the metal scraper just to clean off right in those internals. Really makes. And then obviously using the light just to pick up anything I've missed. Just to sharpen up those corners with the knife. And that's pretty good. That's how I do my detail sanding. Again, if you are interested in learning about how to use a drywall sanding machine, check out that video. It's linked down in the description, how to use a drywall sanding machine. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe if you're not already. Hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment if you need any help with anything. I'll answer any questions. Thanks for watching this video. See you on the next one.